Hello, my name's David Grosak. I'm a lawyer in Boston, and I'm founder of Citizens Justice Programs. Citizens Justice Programs teaches people how to handle their own lawsuits without a lawyer, particularly involving constitutional cases and civil rights violations by government officials. The purpose of tonight's message is to explain a little bit about the mechanics and legal theories that govern cases against prosecutors and against judges. Historically, judges and prosecutors have been immune from lawsuits. The immunity means, basically, you can't sue them. This dates back to English common law that said government was immune from lawsuits, and this was carried over into the colonies in pre-revolutionary times. And basically the theory is that you cannot sue government without its permission. In common law days in England, the government meant the crown or the nobility. In the United States, it means the various branches of government, including the executive, legislative, and judicial. Prosecutors, for example, have generally been immune from claims for malicious prosecution and abuse of process. But the law on that is evolving to the point where prosecutors can be sued. It started out in a Illinois case known as Imbler versus Pactman, federal civil rights lawsuit. And in Imbler versus Pactman, the theory, or decision I should say, was that prosecutors could be sued for what we call injunctive relief. Couldn't get money damages out of a prosecutor, but you in fact could get things like an injunction or restraining order against them, preventing them from engaging in certain kinds of abuse. In Imbler versus Pactman, the injunctive relief discussed was an enjoinment, that is, enjoining them from certain kinds of racial discrimination and how they handled cases. More recently, there was a case out of the District Court of the Appeals Court for the District of Columbia, Washington, D.C. The case was Moore versus Valder. In Moore versus Valder, the second highest court in the land, the Circuit Court of Appeals, held that prosecutors can be sued for money damages under Bivens actions for civil rights violations when they do things outside of the courtroom that do not involve advocacy. That is, well, let's talk about specific examples. What if a prosecutor coaches a witness to lie? Well, that didn't quite happen in Moore versus Valder, but certain things along the lines came very close. For example, evidence was withheld. Testimony was leaked out of the grand jury proceedings. These were due process claims. So Moore, who was the defendant, sued an assistant United States attorney directly under the Fifth Amendment for violating his due process rights in what is called a Bivens action. Bivens actions are cases brought directly from the enabling authority of the Bill of Rights itself. He sued under the Fifth Amendment. That actually stems from a case known as Bivens versus 6 unnamed narcotics agents, and that was a case that said a plaintiff has the right to sue a federal official directly under the Fourth Amendment or any part of the Constitution when his constitutional rights are violated. In Moore versus Valder, we actually have in a book that we published called the Citizens Justice Manual. I don't know if our camera person is getting this all on the screen. We have basically reproduced the entire course of the complaint. We actually have the decision. The case against Valder, including withholding exculpatory evidence, that is, evidence that may actually have led to the acquittal of the defendant, showing his innocence, and presenting false and misleading evidence to the grand jury. The defendants, as the complaint says, deprive the plaintiffs of their rights to due process and to an informed, fair, and impartial grand jury as guaranteed by the Fifth Amendment of the United States Constitution. That is, the Fifth Amendment guarantees a due process. Moore also sued for slander and defamation and under the Federal Tort Claims Act. Now, these kinds of cases are very difficult to pursue by way of getting a lawyer to handle a case like that. Very often you have no choice but to be your own lawyer, because lawyers don't want to go up against the system. So you have to go to the law library and learn how to file lawsuits, whether they're civil rights suits against state or against federal officials. You can even sue a state judge in federal court for injunctive and declaratory relief. That is, if a judge is violating constitutional rights, you can sue him or her, and not for money damages, but to, for example, get an injunction against them, or to declare a practice of theirs to be unconstitutional. This happened in Northern Virginia a few years back in the case of Pulliam versus Allen. In Pulliam versus Allen, there was a Northern Virginia judge who was actually jailing people for non-jailable offenses. And this case went up all the way to the United States Supreme Court. In Citizens Justice Programs, we help you learn how to draft pleadings, use the law library, do your own legal research, and we have books and newsletters, and soon we're producing videotapes, and having a community access show very similar to Glendora's that we hope will be playing on this station. If you would like to write to us at Citizens Justice Programs, that is Post Office Box 90, Hull, Hull, Massachusetts 02045. You can also look at our internet site at www.citizensjustice.com. And if you have any questions, you can always call me at 617-451-1884. We say don't be a victim of government. Learn how to go to court on your own without a lawyer. Do your own legal research. Write your own pleadings. Don't be dependent upon lawyers, because if you can't find one you can work with or afford, then you have no choice if you want to get justice but then to be your own lawyer. And you can find out how other cases were handled, look up those cases, get their pleadings out of the clerk's office. They're all public information. Adapt them to your own cases. They're not copyrighted. You can't copyright pleadings that go into court. Just not, you don't have to worry about that. You adapt them to your own case. You file them. You learn how to do it. You'll be empowered, and you'll have the right to be your own attorney, because the Constitution guarantees you your own choice of counsel under the Sixth Amendment. If you choose yourself to be your counsel, that's it. You have the right to do it. Thank you very much.
The Bible? I'm successful, I'm happy. What do I need the Bible for? I can get more from the Wall Street Journal. But that made me curious. So I decided to take a second look.
I'm on my feet all day. When I go home, I just want to turn on the TV and relax. But read the Bible? All those these and thous and begats? Who wants to struggle with that after waiting on customers all day? But then a friend showed me this version written in modern English, and I was surprised.
This guy I play hoops with said I should start reading it, the Bible. Man, I said, I don't need no Bible. I mean, it just ain't cool. So he goes, I read it all the time. And he beat me by 20 points. So he gives me his Bible, I read it. It ain't hoops, but it ain't bad.
What's your excuse? Before you make an excuse to avoid reading the Bible, stop, take a second look. Pick up the Bible for 5 minutes, and you may pick it up for a lifetime.
Well there, folks, welcome to Lesson 14, Glendora Happy Book. If John doesn't like himself, John is apt not to like others. If John likes himself, John is apt to like everybody. Now, rather than admit disliking himself, John may project his dislike of himself onto others. Rather than thinking about how wrong John is, John may choose to think how wrong others are. What do you think about the right to work law? Don't you think it would be nice if we had a right to loaf law? And what do you think of yoga? It's good for people who don't like to stand on their own 2 feet, isn't it? Now, acquiring the good habits listed in steps 4 and 5 requires prodigious strength. But once acquired, they are prodigious strength. Maybe today your company will decide to give everybody an automatic raise. You get the raise and your wife automatically spends it. Or maybe you can buy your daughter a new dress and all of the accessories that go with it, a Chrysler Imperial. Or maybe you'll get a new TV set with it. Since it's Halloween 365 days a year on your old set, you see ghosts every night. Now, folks, it's nice to think about the good in the past and envision the future now and then, but spend most of the time thinking about the present and how to live it. Because living right in the present assures a good past and a good future. Do no violence to anybody. Do no violence to anybody. Did you decide you need more schooling? Perhaps if you want to be a corporation president, you've decided you need an MBA, standing for a Master's of Business Administration, or in some cases standing for more bad advice. Take out of the thinking materialism, unkindness, lack, discord, sickness, death. And what is left in the thinking? Left are goodness, health, vigor, happiness, abundance, harmony, beauty, peace, fulfillment, wisdom, perfection. Release the damper pedal of a piano. Sing a note. Stop singing and listen. A string of the piano reproduces the note sung. Now the note sung made the air vibrate at the natural frequency of that piano string. And the airs vibrating at the natural frequency of the string made the string vibrate with an amplitude large enough to be detected. So given is an object A, given is an object B, B has a natural frequency, A starts to vibrate at B's natural frequency, this causes B to start vibrating, and all of the above statements, folks, have to do with the phenomenon of resonance. Now, Apply resonance to your thinking. Release the damper pedal of the thinking. What is released? Released are selfishness, error, unloving thinking, fear, lack, doubt, worry, discord. Now what happens? The thoughts in the mind have natural frequencies. The thoughts of the source have various frequencies. When the damper pedal of the mind is released, the thoughts of the mind can respond. The thoughts of the mind can respond to the frequencies of thoughts in the source. Resonance occurs, and the thoughts of the mind begin to vibrate with a much larger amplitude. This larger amplitude makes the thoughts that much more powerful, powerful enough to be detected by other minds. Hence, the thoughts are able to cause action. Repeatedly, wrong thought results in wrong beliefs. An individual begins to think about, believe in, bow down to sickness, tragedy, lack, discord, immorality, unkindness, cruelty, and so forth. All of these become idols. The individual gives the thought to these. To think about these idols and to spend so much time with them is to worship these idols. But the individual can change all this by right thought. Then there is no more bowing down to idols. That is, wrong beliefs. How are you coming on controlling your eating? I haven't eaten anything since yesterday, 20 hours, although I did lick a couple of postage stamps. There's a sign on a restaurant nearby, popular prices. These days, no prices are popular. Think right without ceasing. Think right without ceasing. Anybody who thinks right is in paradise. Paradise is not some place for those whose bodies have gone. Paradise exists now on earth for you when you think right. Practice and train. Practice and train. Develop your talent. Look how many hours a day an Olympic champion has to practice. Practice and train your thought, and perhaps one day your picture will end up on a cereal box. Now then, everybody, if you'd like to have your own copy of the Glendora Happy Book, it is free. All you have to do is write to the Glendora Happy Book, Box 532, Scarsdale, New York, 10583. Or you can have a free lesson from the Glendora Happy Book by writing to that address. Or you can telephone 914-949-9495 for your free copy or your free lesson from the Glendora Happy Book. Now, boys and girls, how would you like a career in banking? Here to tell you all about it is Richard Parsons, and he's the president of Dime Savings Bank of New York. Richard, you were born where?
New York City.
You were?
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, bless your heart. And you went to school where?
I went to public school in New York City. And then when I graduated from high school, which was John Adams High School in Queens, I went to the University of Hawaii.
You did, really?
Yes, ma'am.
Isn't that interesting?
Well, it was not only interesting, it was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
As an assistant counsel in the governor's office when he was governor of the state of New York.
Oh, my goodness, yes. Now, what years were those, Richard?
That was 1971 to 1974.
You went into making it.
The fellow became vice president.
You went with him?
I did, as
my.
one of his lawyers.
Yeah.
And very shortly after we got down there, I was asked to join the White House staff of President Ford. And
You did?
That's right. And I was a lawyer in the White House for 2 years. it gives you a real sense of satisfaction to be able to work with people who have struggled along and who are young folks getting married and they're trying to buy their first house or their second house, and the bank helps them do that by providing the financing in the form of mortgage loans.
Oh.
School, we prepare people for careers in the business world as secretaries for business and in the hotel and travel industries.
It's an old school, isn't it? It's gone
Yes.
on for years and years. It started in Boston, didn't it?
Actually, the first school was in Providence, and it
Yeah.
started in 1911.
Yeah, it's
We
been...
help people go from unskilled and unemployed to skilled and on the road to success.
Oh, boy, that is nice.
It is great.
Yeah, that's terrific.
Not only do we teach them the skills to get their first jobs, but also so that they can advance in their careers.
Right. Would you, Jack?
Sure. Manhattan Cable TV is the largest urban franchise cable system in the
Wow.
country. It is, it's now got 230,000 customers. We have over 30,000 hotel rooms.
Gee.
We have over 2,000 bars and restaurants hooked
Wow.
up to cable. We've got hundreds of data circuits running underneath the streets,
Wow.
interconnecting
Yeah.
some other businesses. It's quite a large company,
Yeah, what-
cable television. And by showing that you had the ability to build a cable system and to provide good service, you could get the franchise from the city to build that cable system, and that's what I did for a number of years with ATC.
And promise the city council that you'll give them public access?
Well, we promised the city council that, but it was more important that the people got an avenue, which we call public access, to have a forum where their views on many issues could be felt. And it's been the promise of cable to have a wider choice of channels available to the public, and public access, in many cases dedicated, separate channels. And of course the broadcast stations couldn't do that because each of them only had one channel or one frequency to broadcast on.
Okay.
Of Paragon Cable in Manhattan.
Oh, now you've made a very complex but interesting situation quite clear, John Galt. You did a
Boy,
good
I
job.
hope so. Boys and girls, we're not going to give a test on all of that information.
No.
But that's how it runs and that's how it works.
When John Galt comes back, boys and girls, he's going to tell you what he likes most about his work, and then he's going to tell you how you might get started in a career today in cable television, and this is a chat with Glendora. Boys and girls, what you like most about your work?
What I like most is working with people. I get the chance to directly work with a lot of different types of people from different backgrounds who have come to Manhattan Cable or work with a program service or work with the city of New York, and I find it exciting to work with our young people because there is such a terrific future in cable television, there's such a terrific future in communications.
News and information show that takes place between 7 and 9 in the morning. It's a network show. That means it's done and plays all over the country at between 7 and 9 each
that's
day.
nice, yeah.
It's on 5 days a week, and it's live. It means it's done in the morning as you're seeing it. Certainly in the East, it's done live. It's on tape as you go to the West Coast, but it's done live. It means when you see it in the East, the people are talking at that time, right then.
Terrific.
Yeah.
That
And
makes
it's,
it exciting.
right, and it's on for 2 hours every day, 5 days a week,
And just think
52 weeks a year.
You're going live in less than, what, Well, about another 14 hours.
Right. And with less than that, we just got done 10 hours ago.
You got butterflies?
No, not now, but we'll when it gets closer this week.
Yeah.
We'll be in at 4. I'll be in about 5:30.
Wow.
And we will, if things change, we'll all be here at midnight. But it depends on what happens. So
Oh, that's a
it's not a job. It's not a job. If you want a job from 9 to 5, then you don't want to get into television. I'll tell you.
Jack, what advice would you give a youngster to get started in TV today?
Well, I would tell them to be well educated. I think the people who are young, a young 10-year-old today is going to be in a business that will be different than I know it today.
Huh.
It's going to be, the electronic aspect of it will be totally different. Today, things that we do with cameras and with edits, with tape and with satellites, we couldn't have done 10 years ago.
Wow.
And I was an old man then. So it's going to be much different. The best thing to prepare you for is to have a good education.
Really?
To learn to be inquisitive.
Yeah.
To have a broad interest in a lot of things.
Yeah.
I honestly suggest that when people come to me, and young people come to me about going to school, they'll say, I want to go to a school where you can take a communications course. And I said, go and get yourself a journalism degree, get yourself a degree in social science, get yourself a degree in history, learn to be someone who will spend the rest of their life reading, being inquisitive, finding out. That's what the background you need.
Yeah. Sorry. For Timothy McAuliffe, whom you're just going to meet in a second. Timothy McAuliffe. Timmy, tell the boys and girls what Blair Television does and is.
Blair Television is a sales representative arm, and basically what we do is sell television time from television stations to advertising agencies to put their products on the air, so hopefully that everyone will buy them.
Okay, give me an example, like there's a product, XYZ.
Let's say Datsun Cars.
Okay.
Is that a good example?
Yes.
Datsun Cars wants to advertise in 30 markets across the country. They would pick up the phone and call us, and we would take all the rates and all the information over and negotiate a buy that's good for them as well as good for our clients, the television stations.
Oh, that's how you do it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then you would say to Datsun that you would get a good buy on such and such a TV station and on such and such a TV station.
Correct.
On such and such a show.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's the television business has a certain mystique to it, and I think it's always changed. There's new television shows on the air, there's new television stations signing on, so it's the fact that the landscape is always changing really makes it an interesting business.
It does.
Yep.
And the money's pretty good in TV sales, isn't it?
The money's very good, and the hardest part I think about it is getting in and getting a job. That's probably the toughest part.
running water, I had walking water. I like renting a place to live because I get tired of the responsibility of owning a home. So I rent a place. Then I get tired of the irresponsibility of landlords. But that's life, and right thought will find a way to get the best of both worlds. When about to complain, stop. Think of the good side of it. Exchange this thought for the complaint. Think of another good aspect of that something, rather than express a complaint about that something. Overcome bad thought, bad speech, bad motion. That's a good sentence to carry with you today. That's a better sentence to carry with you than what a judge would give you. Think right, and there is no failure. Don't think right, and there appears to be failure. Think right, and there is no discord. Don't think right, and there appears to be discord. Think right, and there's abundance. Don't think right, and there appears to be lack. Depurate your thinking. Right thought can make you impervious to tribulation. From time to time, ask yourself, what great work can you see the source doing now? Live in peace as much as you can. Try not to fight. Try to get along with everybody. Try even to get along with your relatives. If you're a businessman, your relatives are Uncle Sam and Auntie Trust. Stand up for your rights and don't be taken advantage of, but try to find a peaceful solution. Fighting can hurt you badly, even if you win. People in Washington are talking much about arms control, and that's not a deodorant. Instead of thinking of the offense, wish the offender the best. Remember, you are much farther along in development, in listening to, and in being aware of the source. Your life is much more pleasant than the offender. Maybe your best wishes for that person will initiate a reversal of such offensive behavior in that person. Then, that's one less offense to come your way. Probably the person who offended you has many worries, maybe more worries than Wall Street. Perhaps that person has blue chip stock and has been blue ever since he purchased it. Maybe the person is a law student and is worrying about passing the bar. Or, if not a law student, maybe the person is worrying about passing any bar. The more bars passed, the better off a person is. Let thinking take the place of drinking. Folks, people can be physically undernourished, right? And you know what causes that. As people eat the wrong things or don't eat enough, they become physically undernourished. Now, as people think the wrong things and don't think right often enough, they become spiritually undernourished. What we need instead of magicians who saw women in half are magicians who saw the prices in half. And all this retracting of blue laws to shop on Sundays just gets us in the red that much faster. Remember now, all that hurts is excessive materialism and belief in what the source does not create. It's very often people have their ears pierced. What do you think of that? I've just had my ears pierced by the school children across the street. When things get on your nerves in New York City, you can dial a joke. You call a special number and a comedian comes on and tells you jokes for a minute. Some people in New York thought dial a joke referred to the operators. But I think there are some really good operators. Was jubilant. They were celebrating their 25th anniversary. Of marriage? No, was the answer. Of quitting smoking. And so ends lesson 14 of the Glendora Happy Book. If you would like a copy of the Glendora Happy Book, it is free. Or if you'd like some lessons on the Glendora Happy Book, they are free. So you can write to Glendora Happy Book, Box 532, Scarsdale, New York, 10583. Or you can telephone 914-949-9495 for a free Glendora Happy Book or free lessons from the Glendora Happy Book. Hi folks, welcome to lesson 15, the Glendora Happy Book, the final lesson. Light comes from the sun. Heat comes from the sun. Heat and light are electromagnetic radiation. Heat and light are energy. Energy is the ability to do work. Energy is the capacity to change the motion of something. Energy is the capacity to cause action. The heat from the sun can warm the air. The warm air is lighter than the cooler air and rises. The cooler air rushes in to fill the space formerly occupied by the warm air. This movement of the air is wind. Being energy, the heat of the sun has the capacity to move the air. Heat, being energy, has the ability to cause action. Some other forms of electromagnetic radiation are radio waves, very high frequency TV waves, ultra-high frequency TV waves, infrared waves, red light waves, orange light, yellow light waves, green light waves, blue light waves, violet light waves, ultraviolet light waves, X-rays, and gamma rays. Now think of thought as being electromagnetic radiation. Then thought is energy. As energy, thought has the ability to cause action. Therefore, thought has power. The thought is emitted as radiant energy and travels through space at 186,000 miles every second. Right thought will bring you what you want. Bad thought will bring you what you don't want. What do you think about skywriting as a form of advertising? It should become more and more effective as the country gets more and more flat on its back. In business reports, you're always hearing about an unaudited figure. Is an unaudited figure a figure that's unheard of? If you get your sleep and eat right, you ought to be able to avoid headaches and the so-called common cold, for which a preventive is so uncommon. The last cold I got, my head was so congested, contact could not have helped to clear out my head. It would have required liquid plumber. Now, folks, think of thought as being in the form of a wave. The wave makes a configuration such as a loop. These loops group. This group is an elementary particle. This elementary particle groups with other elementary particles to make a proton or a neutron or an electron. Protons and neutrons and electrons group to form an atom. Atoms group to form molecules. Molecules group to form compounds and cells. Compounds and cells group to form objects, plants, animals, and people. I believe the source is thought and is in the form of waves, and out of itself, thought, the source, creates everything there is, and that this thought is continuous and is all that exists. If you want to read further about this, I wrote a 3-volume book on it, Physics and Love. This book probably came to you by U.S. mail. Some folks think the U.S. stands for uncommonly slow. But all in all, I think the U.S. mail is a good service. It takes me less time and costs me less money to get it to you that way than taking it to you in person. And this brings to a close this happy book. Now you have everything you need, if you will do it, for a fight to the finish. And if you will do it, you'll have a finish to the fight. You make the choice. Think right or think wrong. You are in charge. Only you. All the best, Glendora. Are you going to do it? Please do it. The source wants you to be happy.
To get your free copy of the Glendora Happy Book, or to arrange for free lessons on how to be happy, write Glendora Happy Book, Box 532, Scarsdale, New York, 10583. Or, if you prefer to telephone, the number is 914-949-9495.
Well, it is.
It's a really good name.
Yes, thank you. It's been the product of our marketing people,
Yeah.
and our inner organization.
Yeah, you go to the store and buy money.
Yes. The tremendous enjoyment out of coming to work every day.
Really?
And two, the fact that when I get through a day's work, I've helped some people, and that's the other satisfaction.
Yeah, you can't beat that. No, you
No.
can't beat that. Right?
No.
Corporation
Yeah.
that invests in stocks.
Uh-huh.
And it invests that money for about 10,000 shareholders.
Ooh.
And it also invests for big corporations.
Really?
Funds as well.
Really?
Yeah, dealing with people daily, finding out about companies and stocks,
Oh, yeah.
and finding out what makes American industry tick, which is really intellectually very stimulating. It's very
Yes, it-
challenging.
Yeah.
And it's a lot of fun.
You enjoy it a lot, don't you?
It's something I would almost do for free.
Then you really enjoy it. Now, Country Day, thank you for coming over here and assisting your father and getting him through this. And we really appreciate that, Andrew, and good luck to you.
Okay,
Bye-bye.
thanks. Bye.
Person to talk to you about a career in finance. It's a Circle Consulting Group. Hi, Michael. How you doing?
Fine, thanks.
Would you tell the boys and girls what the Circle Consulting Group is?
Sure. Circle Consulting Group is a financial planning company, and that means that we help executives and business owners manage their personal financial affairs.
Oh, like stocks and bonds?
So that's part of it, stocks and bonds, and we help them with their estate planning, and we help them set up funds for educating their children.
Oh, really? Does that include insurance, too?
It includes insurance, yeah.
Uh-huh.
major.
You were, really? Was that good for what you're doing today?
Oh, it's great.
Really?
Well, I think that it's not directly applicable to what I'm doing today, although I learned how to think, and I became disciplined in
You're
college.
ahead of me there. Really, huh? And what was your first job out of Princeton?
My first job was working for a very big accounting firm called Coopers & Lybrand.
Yeah. Yeah.
I went to business school at night at New York University.
Did you really? Did you get an MBA or anything?
Yes, an MBA.
Wow. Isn't that terrific? All the time you were working, too.
Right. Worked full time.
That's great. Now, I never could work for Circle because I'm a square, right? They don't allow squares?
Oh, no. Anyone can work. If you work hard and you're diligent.
And your next promotion at Circle?
Well, I don't think really I can be promoted anymore. I'm a principal of the company.
Oh, really? I meant after you... I was just trying to give the boys and girls a progression, how you started out at Circle and how you worked up.
Okay. I started as an associate. I worked very long hours and did anything that had to be done. And slowly but surely I made my way, I moved forward, made my way up.
Oh, congratulations.
And I've been a principal for just a few months now.
I think that's great. Congratulations.
Thank you. Very stimulating intellectually.
Yeah, I should think that would be interesting. And what advice would you give a youngster to start out today in finance?
Well, I would say to study hard in school, to learn as much as you possibly can, but to enjoy yourself and enjoy each of the different stages of life, because there's plenty of time to learn specific things later on. And I think that people can learn general things early and do just fine.
Oh, that's nice.
Hi, how are you?
Good, Thomas. How are you?
Good.
He has a cable operation. Well, here's the man who's president of it, and this is Mr. Thomas Rogers. Thomas, would you just tell the kids what NBC Cable is?
Sure. NBC Cable is a newly created division of NBC that is responsible for overseeing the newest cable service to hit the cable industry, known as CNBC, or the Consumer News and Business Channel.
Consumer News and Business Channel.
And we also have an investment in the Arts and Entertainment Channel, which is another major cable service, as well as a couple other ventures that NBC Cable is responsible for overseeing.
NBC, Tom? Now tell me what that is again.
Well, CNBC, other than having the illustrious names of the broadcast network in the service, is the Consumer News and Business Channel, which aptly describes the major component of the programming we'll be providing, as well as CNBC Sports, since on the weekends it will be sports programming. Is being involved in the TV business, and more importantly than that, being involved in the cable television business, which is in many respects the future of television and represents television where it's going as opposed to where it's been.
To meet a man who travels all over the world for Viacom Enterprises. Arthur Kananak, would you just tell the boys and girls what Viacom Enterprises is?
Yes, Viacom Enterprises is a sales organization.
Oh.
And what we do is we sell our programs all over the world to television stations.
Oh.
In about 110 countries.
Isn't that interesting? And you go to all over, don't you?
Well, I go to a lot of places, not every place.
Tell the boys and girls what some of your programs are.
Well, some of our programs are Perry Mason, The Cosby Show, Different World. We have all the Mary Tyler Moore shows.
My goodness.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we are meeting people from all around the world.
I bet.
Dealing with them, ranging, Japanese people and people from the Philippines and Australia and the United Kingdom, France. It's really it's interesting because they're all different.
Yeah.
And I like dealing with them.
You meet lots of famous people too, don't you?
I meet some famous people. It's more the people I meet are people who actually do the programming for their television stations.
Oh,
buy, buy our programs.
Oh,
but, I have met some famous people in my life.
what Frank B. Hall and Company is?
Frank B. Hall is an international insurance brokerage firm. We represent as professional buyers of insurance all major clients in the United States.
Wow. Like
the Revlons and like the Eastman Kodaks and like the International Telephones.
And would this be life insurance or health insurance or in retirement plans or?
This is every kind of insurance. This
every
is
kind of insurance.
Benefits and property and casualty, everything from personal homeowners insurance right on up. I'll insure your gloves.
And you can insure my hat.
I couldn't insure your hat. That's hard.
Edwin, you were born where?
I was born in New York City at Flower Fifth Avenue Hospital. Of course, is like at the insurance college.
Wow,
so
whoa, yeah, that's good.
You can really work and become a specialist in insurance at the same time. But as I say, insurance isn't always boring, and that's what I really want to point out here.
Edwin, Shara, we want to thank you so much for coming up. Your office is really downtown, isn't it?
Well, this is my uptown office, but yes, we have an office down at Wall Street Plaza, which is at Maiden Lane. That's right in the heart of the insurance district. And if any of you boys and girls want to ever chat and think there's an opportunity, I'm always open to talk to you all.
Isn't that nice?
Right.
Edwin Shara, Frank B. Hall and Company.
Thank you, Glendora.
And he says that he'll talk to you boys and girls. Gee, that's a nice offer. Take care and thanks again for helping us out.
Thank you, and thank you for listening.
Bye, Edwin.
Bye now.
North Tarrytown, Tarrytown, oh my goodness, Bedford, Buchanan, Montrose, Peekskill, Cortland, Croton-on-Hudson. There are about 18 franchises in Westchester County.
18 of them you have?
We have a little bit more than that because we also serve some part of Rockland County.
You do? What part is that now?
We serve Haverstraw, West Haverstraw, Stony Point, Pomona.
Good.
Those areas.
Yeah, that's a big system you got there. It consists of, please.
On a day-to-day basis, I meet with all the department heads and the employees and make sure that the operation is running smoothly. And then I'm also responsible for long-term strategic planning for the entire district.
Oh, that's creative and that's interesting, isn't it? Yeah. And what are the departments, Ellen?
We have operations, construction, marketing, training, engineering, a lot of different facets, and they all have to work together to make sure that we deliver the best signal and provide the best quality service to our customers.
Oh, sure, you love it. I can see you love it. And
products such as garment bags that you see from your dry cleaner.
Yeah.
When your mother goes shopping in the supermarkets, they have the paper, the plastic poly bags that are used to package all your goodies to take home.
Yeah, uh-huh.
Working with people, calling on different people in different parts of the country, it's very interesting work. Very
it really
interesting.
is?
Yes, it is.
And you go all over, huh?
Yes, I travel the United States, and sometimes I've been to Canada as well.
Really? I bet that is interesting.
It is.
And then you go in and you tell them all the good products that Prime Pack has.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Vice President at Viacom. Hi, Mark.
Hello, Glendora.
How you doing?
Fine, thank you. How are you today?
Oh, good, thanks. Just tell the boys and girls, Mark, about Viacom and what they do.
Well, we're a cable television company. We also have MTV, which everybody's very familiar with, and Nickelodeon, which I'm sure everybody knows.
Yeah.
VH1, which is another service of ours. We also have pay television services such as Showtime and the Movie Channel.
My goodness.
We own broadcasting stations, and we are the largest independent distributor of television programming to independent television stations around the country. We distribute, for example, The Cosby Show, which everybody...
that's the biggest one.
Correct.
Yeah, what a great company, huh?
Varied.
Yeah.
And each day presents a new challenge. And issues that you have to deal with on a daily basis are always very, very different. So you're never bored. You're always challenged, and you're always stimulated and really kept on your toes. So that makes challenging, makes work very interesting. That's what makes it hard, but that's also what makes it fun. The other thing you like about the work is you're working with people who are good, interesting people, nice people, and always you try to make sure that's another aspect of your work is you're always working with people, and most of the time those people are pretty nice and fun to work with.
Stay.
6 o'clock in the morning, and we'll soon be on until midnight, so that's an awful lot of time to fill. And we tell you how to make money and how to spend it and how to save it.
There I need a lesson. Is that what it is? And from 6 to 8 to midnight pretty
That's
soon.
right. I mean, if a lot of people are interested in what best to do with their money. And,
Isn't that fascinating? And you're on United Artists, Columbia and Westchester, aren't you? The FN.
Right. Yes.
And you're on Manhattan Cable TV.
Yes, we're up to 31 million homes across the country. So so every day is full of surprises.
And do you travel a lot?
I used to travel a lot, and in the news business, many people do. I traveled all over the world for many years. Now I'm happy staying in New York because, believe it or not, it does get a little tiring after a while. So now I send other people out.
Those of you who have artistic talent, who can draw and do things like that. And we brought you down to NBC Television on the 9th floor, and this is Ralph Familetta. And Ralph, just tell the boys and girls what it means to be a director of news graphics for NBC.
Well, it's a tremendously busy job, Glendora.
Is it?
We do all of the artwork and graphics, maps, pictures, animations for NBC Network News.
Isn't it fascinating?
It is, and it's grown a lot in the last 10 years.
Has it?
And we got a lot of computers, a lot of different paint systems, animation systems.
Paint system? Now what's that?
Kind of replaced the drawing board to a degree.
Really?
And just like the kids at home know about Mac computers and Apple computers that you can paint with, these are kind of the granddaddies.
Really?
Yeah, and we do all the pictures for the news shows, over-the-shoulder graphics.
Wow.
That's right, they're taping it right now.
And what floor is that on, Ralph?
They do the taping on the 3rd floor in the studio newsroom.
Oh, they do?
It's a brand new set that they've built. And Tom Brokaw and the whole news team have their offices down there, so they're close to the cameras in the studio area.
Yeah. And we could see your graphics on it, couldn't we?
Oh, we sure could.
Yeah. Now, Ralph, if I just want to show the boys and girls the monitor above you. This is the NBC News. And you know what, boys and girls, while we were hooking up the camera and everything, we saw the man come along and put hairspray on Tom Brokaw. And I should have got a shot of that for you, so you could have seen it before you went on the air. boys and girls. Would you like a career in stocks and bonds, being a broker? This is Mr. Ben Edwards, and his great-grandfather started A.G. Edwards, right?
That's right.
Tell the boys and girls about that, Ben.
Well, if you want to be successful in life, it helps to have your grandfather start a business and your father be the boss when you go to work. Really, though, kids, I found when I got out of the Navy and went to work that I was almost a disadvantage, because people thought that I was going to receive favorite treatment.
Yeah.
But I felt that if I worked twice as hard as anybody else and performed, they'd get over being the boss's son after a while. Competition with people who are working hard, just like in sports. There's always somebody that'll work a little harder in sports and run a little faster. In business, you have to really take pride in what you're doing and try to be the best at your field. And you can be, too. You can be, you can't be a superstar in everything. In fact, we don't have any superstars, really. We find that an awful lot of people, we have almost 7,000 employees.
Wow!
They all have to do their jobs well for us to have a good result.
Boys and girls, how would you like a career in news, television news? And this is Mr. Lawrence Grossman, who is the former president of NBC News. And Larry, won't you tell the boys and girls where you were born?
I was born in Brooklyn, New
Yo,
York.
good for you. And you grew up there?
Grew up in Brooklyn, right?
Uh-huh. Yes. Now you're up to where I remember you.
Uh-huh. And they asked me to come, and I became the president of PBS back in, when was that? It was 76.
76. And for a long time, weren't you there?
And I was there for 8 years.
Yeah, right. I remember Larry Grossman.
Right.
Now I remember Hartford Gunn.
That's right. He was the first president of PBS.
Yeah.
And I was the second, and helped build up public television to a national network, and doing some outstanding programs.
That was
Children's
very creative
programs,
and very
right?
satisfying.
Sesame Street,
Yeah.
Electric Company,
Yeah.
McNeil Lehrer Report.
Right.
And then came over to NBC News to be president.
And that's when you became... Now, what year did you become president of NBC News?
I became president of NBC News in 1984, just 5 years ago.
1984, yeah. Boy, that was something. Now,
Travel all over the world.
Yeah.
You meet people who are running countries and running governments, and who are making news and doing great sports leaders and champions.
Yeah.
So you have a chance really to find out what's going on in the world and to meet very interesting people.
We did leverage buyout a year ago.
I see. And so how many years did you operate these 7-Eleven stores?
I guess it's about 16 years.
16 years. I bet you thought that was pretty enjoyable.
Well, it was a lot of work, a lot of travel.
Yeah.
A lot of interesting people and a lot of interesting places.
Yeah, but the challenges, it was nice to meet the challenges and win them. Yeah, that's right. Now, Jody, after that, what did you do?
1986, I bought a chain of liquor stores in Dallas.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Oh, really? And now you're a director of the Southland Corporation. Uh-huh, right. And to be orientated to business, that's nice. Now, Jody, how would a youngster get started today in retailing? What would you say? Saying you were starting out again all over, how would you do it?
Well, I think retailing is like any other type of business in that it requires a certain amount of hard work and a certain amount of stick-to-itiveness, if that's the word.
Yeah, yeah.
It doesn't come easy and it doesn't come quick, but it's a rewarding profession.
Yeah. Boys and girls, would you like to be a banker? You can be a banker. Mr. Andrew Blasik is going to tell you how. And Andrew, you're the controller for Astoria Federal Savings,
right?
Would you just tell the boys and girls about Astoria Federal Savings?
Oh, we're a savings loan in Queens. We have $3 billion in assets.
Wow, really?
That's a lot of money.
Yes, it
you
is.
You could never count that high.
Not in pennies.
Wow, and my job is to make sure that the money stays in the bank and is applied properly to numbers too. With a lot of employees, we have over 600 employees.
Do you?
And we have 26 branches, and all the numbers come in from all over the New York area, and we have to make sure that they come in together.
So it's worth your hour's trip every day, right?
Oh, yes. Yeah. I look forward to it.
Just think how long it would take you to get there if you went the way I would go over the Tappan Zee Bridge. Andrew, what advice would you give a youngster to get started in banking today?
If you like numbers, you like people, I think it's an exciting challenge. It's a clean job. It's exciting. I think somebody would like it if they like to work on a daily basis and be patient, and your success will follow.
And start out as a teller, I think, the way you did.
It takes a lot of patience. You can't be vice president tomorrow.
And it's a clean job, even though it deals with filthy lucre, huh? Blasik Jr.?
No.
Oh. Andy Blasik, what do you want to be?
A banker.
You would like to be a banker?
Yes.
Oh, gee, that's nice. And your sister over here is Diane. Hi, Diane.
Hi.
And what do you want to be?
A hairdresser.
Boy, you got a good start. I like your hairdo.
Thank you.
Beth Blasik, you have a career in real estate, right?
Yes, I do.
And you like that a lot, do you?
Yes, I do.
Yeah. How many years you been doing that, Beth?
About 3.
About 3?
3 years now.
Well, So now, folks, this is program number 933, and it's time for your lesson from the Glendora Happy Book. And here you are, step 3. Now, in your retreat, write down everything you desire that you don't have. Don't be afraid to put down the most difficult desires you want. Write these down in any order. Maybe your hair is getting too thin and you want fat hair. Or, if it is so, then put that on your list. Maybe you can get some vitamin E, and that will help you grow some hair. Then on your income tax, you will have to declare that as a capital gain. Or maybe you want to take up skiing because you decided to let things slide. Now, next, include also the personality characteristics that you would like to have. That is the type of person that you would like to be. And those that you don't want, those personality characteristics that you don't want, those you'd like to eliminate. Next, arrange these desires in the order you want to accomplish them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, etc. Of course, there can't be evil. Nothing in these can be evil. They can't hurt anybody because you're going to be a good person. You're going to wish everybody the best, and everybody is going to wish you the best. And you're going to get the best. Now, draw up a schedule when you think you can attain these desires. Today, tomorrow, this week, this month, this year, this decade, this century. Just because the life expectancy is increasing, don't drag out these goals too long. Or is the life expectancy decreasing for you because you expect less and less out of life? Now, don't show any of these that you write down to anybody. Don't let anybody see them. They are your secrets. They are extremely confidential. Don't let anybody know. Try to keep them from the CIA. This is classified information. Now that you have the desires numbered in order of how you will accomplish each one, think about number 1. And let's hope that number 1 is an easy one. Now, if it isn't, why don't you go back and make number 1 an easier one? This is think and think and think about number 1 for a long time. List the steps that are necessary to accomplish it. List the requirements to achieve it. What information do you need? Do you have to read a book on it? Do you have to go to the library and see or go through a trade journal or talk to somebody experienced about it? Remember, if information or direction or advice is required, write down what the topic is, what you want to know about it, and take it to a reference librarian, not a library clerk, a librarian, and ask her to show you the information you want. I never wanted to know anything that a reference librarian couldn't point me in the right direction. Don't forget to say please and thank you, and walk, don't run. As you go through today and tomorrow, when you find yourself thinking about something negative or ugly or trivial, stop the thought instantly. That's instead of think of desire number 1 that you are going to accomplish, what you have to do and how you will go about it. Or think about all the good things you have. That was step 2, remember that? And give yourself a plus mark for reversing your thought. You've done a good thing here. Watch your plus marks increase each day. Don't think about anything that upsets you. Instead, think about what is in this book and in your notes. For instance, don't sit there thinking how you paid $1.98 for 2 pounds of potting soil and how angry you got because potting soil is not dirt cheap. If riding on the bus or subway or waiting to be assigned a seat on the airplane, don't sit there like a subhuman. Get out your notes and this book and read them. Exchange this thought for concentration, energy. It's carrying this little book with you everywhere, and a little 3x5 notebook in case you think of something you want to think about on your retreat. So you carry this book, the Glendora Happy Book, and then you carry your little 3x5 notebook with you everywhere you go, and of course a pencil. Now remember that you learned long ago about life. For every advantage there's a disadvantage. As an example, getting all those Social Security checks when you retire is a peachy advantage. Peachy, right? The disadvantage is that you have to tell people how old you are. And that ends step number 3 on the Glendora Happy Book. boys and girls, here you are back in Manhattan, and you're at the Daily News Building, where WPIX is, and you're on the 10th floor, and this is Mr. Brad Holbrook, who is the anchor for WPIX TV News. Brad, you do a news at what time? What are they?
We do one at 7:30 p.m. We do one at 9:30 that you don't see in New York.
Oh, that's
It goes across the country to about 115 different stations across the country. It's called USA Tonight. It's a network news show, just national news and national international news. And then we have another locally broadcast newscast at 10. Now,
10?
So there's 3 half hours that I do every day, Monday through Friday.
Isn't it wonderful? And you're
Yeah.
so busy. Aren't you good to see us? 115 stations is no small number.
No, and a couple of them, like WGN in Chicago and WPIX here in New York, are seen on cable systems throughout the country. So
super stations.
Right, right.
Yeah.
So we're everywhere. You can't get away from us.
I think
Today, so I'm involved in writing for each of those newscasts, editing the scripts that are written by other people, and looking over them and helping to unify the product into a singular voice, because that's essentially what we're doing here, is running our resources through one channel, one anchor person, one show, and so it all has to have some semblance one to the next. So
Hey there, boys and girls. This is Donald Dixon, and he's the president of Howard Marlboro Sports. And Don, won't you just tell the boys and girls what Howard Marlboro Sports is?
No problem. Howard Marlboro Sports is a rather interesting company. What we try and do is help companies use sports to sell their products.
Oh, yeah? Like, for instance, could you give me an example?
Sure. For example, I think everybody knows about Maxwell House Coffee. I'm
That's
sure
right.
your mom and dad, drink it regularly. And what we do is we got them involved to become a sponsor of America's Olympic team.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, it was
that's
absolutely,
keen.
it was really great.
Yeah.
And becoming a sponsor, we got them to become a proponent of a particular award.
Oh?
And that particular award recognized American athletes which gave the most American spirit during the Olympic Games.
Oh, isn't that nice?
Yeah, it was really, really nice.
And they help you out with dollars, right?
They sure do. They gave over $1 million to the United States Olympic Committee.
I see.
And then they use the association to help sell their products by using contests and sweepstakes, and they take a lot of people to the Olympic Games to entertain them.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
This sounds like fun. Wouldn't you like to be one of those people they take to the Olympic Games? Are you associated with the Olympic Games in any way?
Yes. We represent the 1992 Olympic Games
Yes.
to help them find corporate sponsors around the world.
Wow.
And we also help the United States Olympic Committee find corporate sponsors so our America's Olympic team compete really well and be effective and sold.
And it's going to be in Madrid, right?
Yeah, well, the Barcelona is where the games are going to be in,
Barcelona.
in 1992.
Sorry about that.
That's okay. You should try and get into an allied field, like I said, like advertising or journalism, and then from that base you can get into,
Specialize.
you can specialize and get into the sports marketing.
Yes, it is sort of specialized, right?
There's no question.
Is it an open field? Will it continue to grow? Will there be employment in it?
Yeah, the growth is tremendous. We're the fastest growing division of Saatchi's worldwide. Our profits are very, very good. It's a very profitable business, and I think that the industry is going to double within the next 5 to 10 years.
Whoopee!
Easily. Yeah, so there's plenty of room for everybody.
You have to know a lot about sports, don't you?
Well, it doesn't hurt. I think you have to be conversant is really what you have to do. You have to know a little bit about everything. You shouldn't specialize in any one particular sport.
A fellow named Bob asked this girl what kind of sports she liked the best, and she said, the kind who spend their money and go home early.
Well, unfortunately, that's not me. You know?
Anything else to tell the children, Don Dixon?
Well, I think the real emphasis is on hard work.
Hard work?
Yeah, I spent, I got to be at least 6 to 7 years working 7 days a week, 10, 12 hours a day in order to really get where you have to get.
Wow. Hi there, everybody. This is your 4th lesson from the Glendora Happy Book. Step 4. In your retreat today, write down all your good points. Make a list of all your good points. Here is an example. You have a nice figure, you have wavy hair, you have a nice smile. You're friendly, you have good taste, you're well-mannered, you're well-groomed, etc. Now, next make a list of all your bad points. Here is an example. You procrastinate, you're disorganized, you talk too much, you waste time, you're lazy, etc. Be merciless when you list your bad points. Your relatives always are. Now let's hope you aren't as bad as I was when I started. When I started, I had 2 pages of bad points and 1 centimeter of good points. Under your bad points include all of your bad habits. You eat too much, you smoke, drink, etc. A bad habit is anything, folks, that hurts you. This is your 4th lesson from the Glendora Happy Book. Step 4. In your retreat today, write down all your good points. Make a list of all your good points. Here is an example. You have a nice figure, you have wavy hair, you have a nice smile, you're friendly, you have good taste, you're well-mannered, you're well-groomed, etc. Now, next make a list of all your bad points. Here is an example. You procrastinate, you're disorganized, you talk too much, you waste time, you're lazy, etc. Be merciless when you list your bad points. Your relatives always are. Now let's hope you aren't as bad as I was when I started. When I started, I had 2 pages of bad points and 1 centimeter of good points. Under your bad points include all of your bad habits. You eat too much, you smoke, drink, etc. A bad habit is anything, folks, that hurts you, that keeps you from being 100% happy, strong, resourceful, successful, anything you are doing that you want to stop doing, anything that hurts others, and anything that is lower than your standards, anything that keeps you from being the great person you'd like to be, and anything that keeps you from getting what you want in life and want to accomplish. Take one of your bad points and start today to correct it. Pick one of the easiest ones for you to correct. Break it today. Put it on your score sheet and see how many minus marks and how many plus marks you get today. See if you win the day or lose it. More plus marks than minus. Work on it a week and see if you can't get rid of it. Usually if you can go 3 whole days without doing a bad habit, you have eliminated it. If you can get up your strength to go 3 whole days consecutively without doing it, then you have mastered it, usually. The first step in breaking a bad habit is to sit down in your retreat and think hard about it. Ask yourself, which do I want? A life with that bad habit or a life without that bad habit? List the reasons why it's important to you to be without that bad habit. You can go on like that, breaking a bad habit each week. Each week you can break one bad habit, then pretty soon you won't have any bad habits. You won't even recognize yourself anymore. Then you'll be so pleased with yourself because you mastered your bad habits, and you will be so confident. And then people will start liking you so much more. You like you so much more. You'll be stronger. You will be more in control. You'll start getting more of what you want in life. You will have less of what you don't want in life, and there will be fewer and fewer obstacles in your path. Remember now, instead of thinking about something that is ugly, that is, instead of thinking about me, or negative, or trivial, or irrelevant, or annoying, think about this. I'm breaking a bad habit. Next week, I'm going to break another. And I'm getting stronger, more confident, and more in control, and more popular. With my increasing strength here inside of me, pretty soon, I'm going to control my whole inside world and then control my whole outside world and have everything I want. Some bad habits disappear very quickly and easily. If one of your bad habits is counting your money too often, just go to Atlantic City. And that bad habit you'll get rid of overnight. There won't be any left to count. Are you counting 15 blessings per hour? Are you rested? Are you getting a good 8 or 9 hours sleep at night? Are you spending at least 15 minutes a day in your retreat? Say yes. And remember, that's where you get most of your strength. Thinking hard, thinking clearly, thinking purely. It's in your retreat where you work hard on being the person you want to be and getting what you want out of life and being 100% happy. Now also be punctual. Don't be like a doctor. Keep your appointments. If you feel that you eat too much, when you get hungry, sit down and think. Look for your enjoyment in thinking, not eating. Some people try to get by on one meal a day. One meal a day. It starts at 7 a.m. and ends at 9 p.m. Eating can take up too much time. Time that could be spent in thinking. This is good. We don't have control for it. No, it should stop itself. It should be clean.
That's much easier to read.
Is it?
Oh, yeah. The LCD.
Because it's big enough.
Yeah.
Hi folks, how are you doing? Here is step 5, lesson 5, day 5 on the Glendora Happy Book. You must know that you are strong inside. You are made of very, very good stuff. You can climb to the top just by starting inside of you. It all starts inside of you. Think of the most successful people you can think of the people you admire. Think of the biggest accomplishments of which you know. It all started inside the person. All the power came from inside, and you have as much power inside of you. You are there and able to develop it, and that is what you are starting to do. Just remember, you are made of great stuff, and remember that this book later on, you will find out why and be convinced how powerful you are inside. Forget the past. That is, everything bad in the past. It's over. Don't think of it anymore. Say, I have done wrong. I'm sorry I have done wrong. I forgive myself for doing wrong. And I ask everybody else to forgive me. Others were wrong too. We were both wrong. I ask them to forgive me, and I forgive them. I am not going to think about it anymore. I'm not going to think about bad things in the past anymore. This is a whole new life. I'm starting out clean. This is a new year, or a new month, or a new week, or a new hour, or a new minute, and I'm starting out fresh. I'm not going to think about it anymore. Okay? Just forgive everybody, including yourself. Stop thinking of it and move onward. You can even forgive the Infernal Revenue Service. So don't think about the bad things in the past. You can beware of nostalgia. I think most people are nostalgic for the 1950s because you could make a left-hand turn then. Did you hear about the town that lost half of its population? People got on a one-way street going out of town and they couldn't get back in again. Or maybe what makes people nostalgic for the 1950s is the food prices back then. Remember, if you find yourself thinking of the past, stop immediately. Think instead of something on your list. Give yourself a plus mark and see if you can increase these plus marks until your thought is totally clean and until you are magnificently strong. Every week or so, during counting your blessings, it's all right to count as blessings some of your happiest moments from the past, some of the good things that brought you ecstasy, that helped you be what you are today, that got you to a higher level. Thinking about the good things in the past once in a while is good. I'll never forget the Christmas of 1978 because I'll always be paying the bills for it. And this ends lesson number 5, step 5 in the Glendora Happy Book.
You had what, heart surgery?
I had open heart surgery, yes, and I was unconscious for about 2 weeks, and I had a lot of blood, other people's blood, and out of that blood, of course, we got some bad blood, and 5 years later, we wind up ill to the point to where that I went from 180 pounds to 129 pounds in about 3 or 4 weeks. Mrs. Gann was worried about me, and she became angry and called the doctor and said, "I want to talk to you." He said, "Come on down, bring Paul with you." So we did. We went down, and she said, "Doctor, my husband is dying. I'm watching him die daily, and I don't know why, and I want to know why." And he said, "Well, Nell, if we knew why, we would be treating him for that." And she said, "Well, doctor, remember when you had the open heart surgery that you told the family and I that there was a new disease called AIDS, that they wasn't sure that they could test the blood, had no way to test the blood to see whether the blood you're getting will contain that vicious thing." And so he said, "Yes, I remember it." And she said, "Well, have you checked him for AIDS?" And he said, "No, I haven't had a reason to." And she said, "Well, I'm going to give you a reason to. I want him checked because I want..." Mrs. Gann thought I'd be thrown out, but we had a house full of people. But I got a standing ovation, and I said, "Ladies and gentlemen, I don't think that I'll die with AIDS because, you see, I know a particular person who is capable of saving me from that. And one of the people in the audience said, "You know someone that could save you, Mr. Gann?" And I said, "Indeed I do." And he said to me, he said, "Do you think that person would be embarrassed if you gave us his name?" and I said, "I think he'll be delighted." I said, "I call him God." Very simply,
wonderful.
God.
That is
Yeah.
wonderful. And you...
Pretty soon, aren't you?
Yes, I am.
Where are you going?
I'm going to Smith College.
Smith College?
Yes.
And that's in...
Northampton, Massachusetts.
Yeah. Well, that's the cream of the crop, isn't it?
Syracuse was with ABC.
It was?
Yeah, I walked in off the street and they were looking for warm bodies. And you may remember Eight is Enough and
Sure.
And currently Who is the Boss?
Sure.
And, a lot more like Growing Pains and Full House and Perfect Strangers, and they remember
Gee.
all those. And Moonlighting.
Yeah, that's great.
And Moonlighting is our own production. And so therefore it's a little bit more detailed because we have to go out and get the cast and all the production people that
sounds
make the
fun.
show what it is.
Yeah, that sounds fun.
The day parts that get produced in the East, like Good Morning America,
Oh.
and all the daytime serials,
Yes.
and we're
And they are
developing
what
some
now?
late night programming. Well, the One Life to Live and All My
From New
Children
York?
from New York, All My Children and Ryan's Hope.
Gee whiz.
And from the West Coast, we have General Hospital, of course. And we're buying an outside show, which is called The Home Show, which we have a lot of fine hopes for. Fun part of this job is the people.
The people?
Is interacting with all the people that are here in New York on the coast, and you're never surprised. You're always surprised. It never changes. The surprise is a day. But I like working with people in the interaction.
Asset Management Company is a division of Prudential Insurance Company, and it's the largest administrator and asset manager of pension funds.
Oh, pension funds.
Right.
Could you give us an example? Company XYZ has a pension fund with you. Is that how it goes?
That's right. They would be like General Motors or Taft-Hartley, which would be a labor union,
Oh, my.
or the City of White Plains.
And then you pay the pension checks for all of those people who have retired.
That's right. We send out about $400,000 a month.
Really?
Yeah.
Really, Scott? Oh, that's terrific.
It's going to make you go up very quickly, and don't get yourself trapped into a situation where you're not having fun, because you spend too many hours of your day working to do something that you don't enjoy doing.
Can you still start out as a runner the way you did?
Yeah, I think so. My guess is that it's a little different today and harder to come up that way, but that's how it was when I started.
Sounds to me like that's the greatest job you could start it because you get to know everybody and meet
Well,
everybody.
You know where everything is, that's for sure.
Besides that, you know all the gossip, right?
That's true.
Wife Janice. Hi, Janice. How you doing?
Nice to be here. Nice to be along with Scott and hear what he had to say.
You said you were head of the youth council in Rye?
I was, yes, 5 years.
Wow.
Really, really enjoyed it, and I think the highlight of it, obviously, is working with kids.
You do?
I think it's a great time to be a kid. You have a big, wide world out there, and you got to go get them.
Examines all the news events that occur, a news producer does, that occur during the course of a day.
Oh, really?
We decide which stories are most important, which stories will have the greatest impact on a person's life.
Really?
And those are the stories we put together on our newscast each night at 6:30.
And that woman was in here talking to you about some story.
There was a woman talking about a story that we're going to do in the future, a story about children, as a matter of fact.
Oh, really?
And the story about the problems that our governments have in protecting children and making sure that they have safe, happy lives.
Old first job, huh?
Boy, there's no substitute for luck when it comes to that. No.
After the Bankers Trust, what did you do?
After Bankers Trust, I went back to business school.
You did?
And I was at the Amos Tuck Business School up at Dartmouth.
Yes.
And again, back to Hanover, New Hampshire. So
yeah,
back in the state I was born.
They're both on the Connecticut River, Smith and
that's right.
Smith and
Dartmouth.
Yeah.
That's right.
There's a lot of canoeing that happens back and forth there on the weekends.
Well, you work a lot, so you don't get to canoe as much as you'd like.
Now, was that an MBA you got?
Yes, it was.
Congratulations.
Oh, thank you.
That stands for more bad advice, MBA. And then after Amos Tuck, where'd you go?
I left Amos Tuck and went to work immediately for Dancer Fitzgerald Sample.
You did?
It is an assistant account executive and work your way up. Or a number of friends of mine have gone into media. Media is specifically the area involved with buying television time or buying space in magazines or newspapers, or buying time on radio. Other friends of mine have gotten into advertising through research. They get involved in looking at the research specific to the various pieces of business that we work on.
Hi there, folks. It's time for Lesson 6 of the Glendora Happy Book, because we got to make you happy. And here it says, Step 6 is to improve your thinking. You have to keep your concentration on what is right, good, successful, happy, strong, decent, gratifying. The sooner you stop yourself from thinking about what is bad, negative, depressing, trivial, or irrelevant, the faster you will progress. Clean up your thought. Train your thinking. Think about the good habits you are forming, the bad habits you are eliminating, the goals you want, and those things in life for which you are thankful. Envision the type of person you want to be and will be someday very soon. Envision the success in life you will be someday soon. In fact, as soon as you accomplish everything in this book and in your notes. And this is so important. Your whole face and body will reflect your thought. Your face and body will reflect good thought or bad thought. A happy face and body will draw more happiness and success to you. An unhappy, ugly, and unpleasant countenance will repel what you want to attract. An unhappy, ugly, and unpleasant countenance will repel what you want to attract. The choice is yours. When you get dressed in the morning, remember the most attractive thing you can wear is a smile. If you're in Las Vegas, don't even bother to get dressed. Remember, your success and happiness start with you. Spend a lot of time in your retreat and do a lot of thinking to get your thought off of something ugly, frustrating, irritating, etc. Number your thoughts. Here's an example. 1, I will think about something good. 2, I have many blessings. 3, I am not going to let this get me. 4, I am stronger than that is. 5, I am going to succeed. 6, I have made a lot of progress. 7, I know what to do now. 8, I am getting stronger inside. 9, no matter what, I'll stick to my steady improvement. 10, I won't let anything get me. 11, someday I will control outside conditions. 12, outside conditions won't control me. 13, there is good in everybody. 14, if I'm smart, I will concentrate on the good in everybody. 15, I'll forget the bad. 15 thoughts are equivalent to 1 minute. So try to think right, like this, 25 times a day, 25 minutes a day. Keep the score on your daily list and schedule of what to do, and build it up to 25 minutes a day. You can keep your hash marks, and they'll look something like this. Now later, try to increase it after you've made the 25 plateau. Stay on the 25 plateau for a while, and then try to jump it a minute or so a day. Now remember, it depends where your concentration is. You can either concentrate on what's good, or you can concentrate on what's bad. It's your choice. You can use your life constructively or destructively. You can be happy or unhappy. You make the choice. It is up to you. Nobody is to blame but you. You are in charge of your thinking. If you get tired and it's hard for you to think right, well, don't give up. With book in hand and your notes and your daily list and pencil, get yourself to the nearest chair and sit. Quiet the body, quiet the tongue, quiet the thought, and you'll begin to recover gradually. Get your thought back onto the right track. Look at today's list and schedule and bring it up to date as to what has been done and what remains to be done. In an hour or more or less, you'll feel strong again. It's what you call solar energy. Now here's another example. 1, I affirm that I am strong inside. 2, he isn't going to get me. 3, I'm stronger than that is. 4, I'm going to be a nice person. 5, he isn't going to stop me. 6, I won't think of that again. 7, I'm going to be a person I like. 8, I'm going to be a person other people like. 9, whether he loves me or not, I love him. 10, I'll get the good out of everybody. 11, I'm stronger inside than to let that get me. 12, you fill it in. 13, you fill it in. 14, you fill it in. 15, give me another good thought. Now, try to be organized and try to be trim and neat and tidy and clean. And don't let the dust pile up in your place until you need a snowblower to get rid of it. Glendora Happy Book, lesson number 6. Hi there, folks. How you doing today? This is the Glendora Happy Book, and this is lesson number 7, because we're going to make you happy. Lesson number 7, step 7, Glendora Happy Book. You have to realize there is a source. Call the source anything you want, folks, but beware of the source. The universe, by definition, of course, is everything there is. If you're smart, you'll stay with the source, and you will keep your thought on the source. Do you like to be with influential people? Well, let me tell you that the source has all the influence there is. Do you like to be with wealthy people? Well, the source has more wealth than anybody you can think of anywhere. Do you like to be with powerful people? Well, the source has all the power there is. The more time you spend with the source, the more successful, healthy, happy, rich, powerful you will be. You spend time with the source by thinking about the source. Have an intimate relationship with the source. If you have an intimate relationship with a person, you spend a lot of time with that person, don't you? And if you have an intimate relationship with a person, you like that person, and that person likes you. So you can have an intimate relationship with the source by spending time with the source. You will find that you'll like the source very, very much, and the source will like you very much. If you have an intimate relationship with a person, you know a lot about that person, and that person knows a lot about you. If you have an intimate relationship with the source, you'll know a lot about the source, and the source will know a lot about you. If you have an intimate relationship with another person, you do things for each other, don't you? And if you have an intimate relationship with the source, you'll do things for the source, and the source will do things for you. The source can give you everything you want and beyond. The source can and will give you more than you can ever use. There's no shortage. Think of what you want. The source can give you all that you want, abundantly, more than you'll ever be able to use. If you have an intimate relationship with a person, you understand each other. If you have an intimate relationship with a source, you'll understand the source, you'll understand the universe, you'll be very, very wise. You'll understand the way things are and what you should do to be in tune with them, so your life will be pleasant and harmonious, and you won't be beating your head against the wall.
We